Think, Mark. Think. Let's talk about my suggested read, Invincible. What's going on? Shasper22 here, coming at you with a new video. A little different than my Whatnot auctions and my statue reviews. We're talking suggested reads. Today's video, I'm talking about Invincible. Before we talk about the compendiums here in front of me, we got to start way back to what got me to this point, which ultimately got me to this point. So, like everyone else, I'm sure you saw while you were scrolling through YouTube a pre-roll ad of Invincible, voiced by J.K. Simmons, also known as J. Jonah Jameson. While I'm filming this, Spider-Man No Way Home comes out this Friday. Excited about that. But anywho, so you're just sitting there and you hear and see this pre-roll ad, and I forgot what it shows. I know it shows the flying scene and things like that. I'm like, okay, another hero video coming to Amazon. I'll check it out because I very much enjoyed The Boys. This one's animated, but I'm sure Amazon's bringing the gas. So time passes, Invincible airs. I watched the first episode and the second episode. I believe they aired together. Loved it. Loved the animation style. Kind of comic-y, but obviously animated, so that was really cool to see. Then I ended up finishing the season, and I wanted more, because where the season left off, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. It's been out for some time, so be surprised if you haven't yet, but if you haven't, go watch it. Hence why we're doing a suggested read video. Season finished. I wanted more. Just like I always say, wanted to scratch an itch, and that's really what this hobby is scratching itches. So in my comic Facebook group, I saw that Invincible expanded story into 3 different books. So I set myself off on a hunt to get all 3 books. I happened to pop into a Barnes & Noble, like the physical brick and mortar store. Went over to the graphic novel section, skimmed the whole shelf. Lo and behold, volume 1 was there. Awesome. Cool. Let's do it. Let's read it. Then I was trying to find volume 2 and 3. That was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Volume 3 I was able to pick up on Amazon, but for some reason volume 2 just like was not able to be picked up anywhere. Luckily I found it on Facebook Marketplace, got it shipped over while I was reading volume 1, and I read right through it. After I finished volume 1, moved on to volume 2 and volume 3. These 3 stories I read in a 2-week span, or these 3 compendiums I read in a 2-week span. It was so hard to put down. I actually brought volume 3 on an airplane with me as I was heading to Colorado. Normally I like to sleep on planes, but I was like, I have 3 hours dedicated to nothing but flying. Let's read it. Read volume 3, got pretty much halfway through, did my trip, and I didn't read the rest until my trip back, and I finished the compendium on the flight there of volume 3. And I'm so excited to see where Amazon Prime takes the animated version of this, because in volume 1, the story only has about this much. This is how much Amazon Prime Season 1 covers. And look at the rest that we have. Both these volumes are the same size. Now, this was a suggested read for me because it comes from a different source. It's not DC, it's not Marvel, it's Image Comics. I'm not too familiar with Image Comics aside from Invincible, but once I saw the series on Prime and read the comic, I'm a big fan. If you enjoyed the Prime series, I suggest you at least pick up volume. The story itself, now I was definitely a little eager and I picked up all 3 within the same span, not knowing if I would enjoy it or not, but volume 1, very quick read, left me off in a spot where I'm like, oh snap, open up volume 2, but I wanted to pace myself. Each book retails for about $65. It's quite the investment. I know that I said earlier on in the video a couple of them were grailed or hard to find, but even then, the volume 2 that I bought on Facebook Marketplace I actually got for $10 less than retail, but I was super excited. I kind of was like, hey, I'm really passionate about this series. Can you hook me up with a deal? And it worked out that way. Super awesome there. But the story's compelling. I suggest you read this story because it does a great job filling the gaps that you had and the questions you had about Mark Grayson and his journey from a zero to a hero, following the footsteps of Omni-Man, who in the series kind of leaves us in a weird spot, and then it is explained in the 3 volumes. But this volume alone, like I showed earlier, the chunk that is just the season, imagine what you can see the rest of. Pick these up. Read volume 1. Let me know what you think in the comments, or if you have read it, let's even talk about that. I love to have a dialogue about this because this comic series has ultimately made this happen. So before I started picking up the Compendiums, I had one omnibus on my shelf. I got the Infinity Gauntlet, which I'll make a story about later on. And I wasn't like big about the collecting them all compact, and I really didn't even have single issues. But I picked this up, and I picked these two up, and then I picked up all 6 of the boys, also on Amazon Prime. Video coming soon about that once I read those. And I was like, I like this collected idea. And that's what really sparked everything that's happening behind me here. The single issues, the more omnibus. You can see that this square has omnibus. I have omnibus out of frame that don't even fit on shelves. It's just, this book was so good. This series was so good that made my hobby, man, I'm getting excited, made my hobby much bigger and broader. And it's a plea. I suggest you read this. That's all. This is a plea. Read these volumes. Let me know what you think. It'll be great. Now, this was a rather quick video because I wasn't showing off an auction lot and I wasn't showing off a statue. But if I wanted you to take away one thing from this video, pick up volume 1 at least of Invincible, the Compendium. I know it comes in single issues, but get all the stories collected. Read through it. Fill that itch that you got from season 1. And, you know, I know season 2 is coming soon. I don't remember what date. Read through that. Tell me what you think in the comments. And let's talk about it moving forward. And just like that, this has been another video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm really passionate about the Invincible Compendium series, and I really want you guys to pick it up and read for yourself. Hopefully I can get to the boys before the new series premieres, and we can make a video about that. But until then, I'll catch you out there.